Hey, welcome guys, and welcome to another episode of the blockchain playlist. This is our eighth episode, and in this episode, we'll be discussing about the programming language and programming structure. Well, this episode is very special to me because I always used to have a question in my mind that in blockchain there are different kind of programming languages are used. There are different structures of the programming language, smart contracts, maybe example Solidity, and means there are different individuals and different projects, and different projects have different kind of programming structures. So, is it possible to have a standardized structure of these programming of these programs or the smart contracts? Because I can imagine after 4 or 5 years, it's very difficult to have a legal policy or legal governance system of the smart contracts if there are thousands of different type of programming structures. It's also very difficult to learn for the authorities also to or difficult to know about many things also. So if there could be a standardized process or standardized structure of these smart contracts and the programs, then it would really help in understanding. With that being said, let's begin. So, okay, programming. Well, there are more than 15,000 currencies and tokens in crypto market. Each project uses its unique and uses a different tech stack for development process. Well, I have based on I know little bit of Solidity, and I have seen some other programming languages also. So the components of each project could be segmented into the core values, then the smart contracts, then the user interfaces, the improvement proposals, the SDK, yeah, software development kit, the APIs, and the application on the parachains. Well, we can segment each project into 8 components. Well, multiple languages are used for full stack development like C++, HTML, Scala, Solidity, Java, Go, etc. But is there a process to have a standardized structure of the programming language? Because many programmers have their own ideas, own concepts of the smart contracts. So, is there a common way out or not? So, that is what we are going to discuss. Okay. First discussing about the core values or implementations, because each project means I could say that it is very difficult to have a common standardized structure because for example, because the core value or implementations are different. For example, Bitcoin, its core value is to be a trusted and accepted unit of exchange, whereas Ethereum, it is highly focused on the dApps and the smart contracts. Cardano, yeah, it's a resilient and sustainable blockchain through secure scalability and interoperability. So it's more into resilience and sustainability components rather than Bitcoin into trusted unit of exchange. Solana create different smart contract platforms. XRP efficient system for direct transfer of money. So each then VET for supply chain management solutions rather than focused on unit of exchange. So each project has its own core implementations, and that is why their the program structure is different, and their aim or the deliverables are different. Programming standardized contracts, although projects are unique because of its core values. However, I feel that some standards could be implemented in the smart contracts. A smart contract, well, what is the definition of smart contract? It's a script that is anchored on a blockchain level one or the ground level, As soon as it is triggered by a blockchain transaction and it is validated across network, there are predefined actions in the smart contract or the predefined if statements, and if else statements are executed. Well, I feel the standard components of each type of contracts could have the possible things, and this is my proposal also. First, for example, the currency and the location, that information should be there in the in the program. Sender's account address, that should be there. Participant's account address should be there because it helps in terms of legal as well as traceability, quantity and amount, and the traceable IP address. Well, I believe that each program or each while designing a smart contract, maybe it's in any language, but these components should be there so that yeah, everybody can understand that okay, this is what's happening in the contract. There can be different intelligent ways of framing it, but the constituents of the contract should have this, as I feel. Policies should ensure transparency and traceability of all transactions. That is the aim of those components. The computer codes that has certain legalese, example contract properties with predefined logic based on legal structures that is expected in a certain way, or code resembles the legalese. Means uh, being the smart contracts coded in different programming languages and they have different structures, but to ensure that they have a common structure and maybe some legal flavors could also be applied to it, it should have a predefined logic. That is what it is being meant in these lines. This shall prevent contracts being biased or prone to bugs or people taking advantage, etc., etc. Well, coming to the discussion of legal validity of smart contracts, this is one of the element that I added to it. Well, the first part was that can we have, or can the smart contracts be programmed in such a way? Can there be a standardized way of programming? But then, if there is a standard way of programming, does it has a legal stand in the current world? Well, to be in black and white, there is no framework now because people are still learning about it. Some countries have passed specific regulation towards the smart contracts in a rush because everyone is developing in its own way and it's very difficult to grasp it. So some countries have passed specific regulations. Like in the USA, there is recently SEC is trying to make cryptocurrencies as or trying to define cryptocurrency as digital assets or securities, so that securities or commodity rules can be applied there. India has legalized cryptocurrency by defining it into the group of securities and is taxable. 30% tax is applicable there. We can mention the cases of Malta, which in 2018 passed the Innovative Technology Arrangements and Services (ITS) Act. Italy, where according to law, smart contracts are considered valid when they comply with requirements of the AGID and especially AGID. Okay, Estonia as a country with an outstanding level of digital infrastructure and innovative concepts such as Estonian digital identity or an e-residency that grants its holder a number of rights. This is an example of what is already there in the market. The UK Jurisdiction Task Force 19 on the status of crypto assets, a smart contract. It includes the smart contracts can be implemented and interpreted under the current legal framework and the contract law doctrine. Okay, UK Jurisdiction Task Force has said this and said that it's a type of asset class. Many countries also state that the country's common law has enough flexibility to support smart contracts. Means there is no definite law into existence now, but people have come up with some frameworks or some type of declarations. Let's put it in that way. Well, there are a lot of discussions and debates around the smart contracts, and smart contracts. Currently, it's the current status of development is that it started using artificial intelligence. And in view of this, such scenarios under the legal framework of many countries could not be considered as a legal contract, because smart contract with AI couldn't be considered as a legal contract since the machines have no will and therefore cannot generate any argument, thus generate a legal uncertainty. So if you are developing a smart contract with by using AI, so be aware, many of the countries do not accept it as a legal contract. Added further, there is complexity of cross-border rules and regulations. So, answering the question, there can be some standardized components in each smart contract and each blockchain programming structure, but complete standardization is not possible because of its variability in application, use cases, core implementations, etc., and the apps and many things. Many countries are trying to come up with some frameworks, but it's still in a very amateur phase right now. Smart contract auditing. Well, lack of readability of smart contract can make them opaque to external auditors, and also knowledge factor also comes into play. Also, skills of the auditors of understanding the complex contract structure is also lacking in the current era, because the development is happening so rapidly and in a parallel world that it's very difficult to grasp everything. With that being said, we have come to an end. I hope these topics are for the beginners. I'm not a legal expert also, so just try to give a flavor of what's happening in the world of smart contracts, and could there be a standardization of the smart contracts? Well, the answer is no and yes, but some components could be standardized so that there is some legal structure or legal flavors can be added to it, and if there is any dispute, then dispute resolution can happen. Okay, guys, keep learning and please like and subscribe. Have a nice day and keep learning. Till then, goodbye and see you in the next video.